Welcome back to our channel. Now, this is really the channel where I'm going to share everything I learned over the past 10 years that allow me today to own, to come from nothing until today to own more than 12 companies in 5 different countries, and I'm currently running nearly 300 employees, right? And by the way, 10 years ago, I was a bartender in London. I didn't even speak English. Now in this channel, I want to give you all my knowledge for free. So wherever you want to start your new business or wherever you want to grow your new business, I can guarantee you that this is the channel you want to subscribe on and follow, watch, take notes and study, right? We're going to study together. We're going to grow together, right? Now, during our last live that we have done, we received more than thousands of questions about sales, leadership, marketing, hiring, culture, how to build a company culture, how to build a company DNA. So my team has selected a few of them, right, that we're gonna go through it today together, right? And by the way, if you have any other questions, whatever that is, write it down in the comments so that for the next time my team can help me to prepare the next videos, right? If we have a bunch of people that will ask about something specific, then we will know the comments with the most likes, what are the next videos that we're gonna be doing, all right? Now, let's start. Let's get into it. So right now, remember, if you're watching these videos, if you're only using your phone and you're sitting on the sofa, lie down on the sofa, you're not paying attention much, you're just watching just to watch, you're making a big mistake. Learning process. Get a table, get on a chair, sit down properly, get your notebook, get your pen, get your highlighter and write down everything you watching, everything that you learning. Make sense? Now, first question, guys. This was from one of the guys of our last live event. Now, he asked me, Pasquale, why most sales teams fail? Now, most companies don't have a lead problem, guys. They have a leadership problem, right? So I want to tell you why most of the sales team out there fail. Now, one of the things I want you to pay attention on is discipline. There is a big lack of discipline on most of the things that your team is doing right now. A lot of you, they are spending a lot of time on training the team, on trying to grow the team, but they lack to help them to develop discipline, right? So whatever it is, you know that if you want to become an entrepreneur, discipline is a big thing, right? Whatever you like something, you don't like something, there are things in life that you have to do all the time. So don't you think that you want to get your team also to learn what discipline is? Because if they learn that properly, they're gonna bring it inside their daily activities in the office, right? And obviously, the more discipline they're gonna bring, the more they're gonna achieve, the more they're gonna earn, so the more business and revenue they can generate for the company. Does it make sense? So how am I going to teach discipline with the guys? Look, the first thing I can tell you is be yourself an example, right? Because if you are the leader of the company, if you are the manager, if you are a director, or maybe you are the CEO, your guys will learn from you. Your guys have to see you as a mentor so that they can learn from you. Does it make sense? So you have to lead as an example. So right now, if you're not in shape, if you're not the first one to come to the office and the last one to leave the office, if you're not working 24/7, if you don't lead as an example all the time, if you don't learn new things all the time and bring those learning to your team all the time, you're not a leader. I don't want to work with you. And if I work with you, I will be working with you only for the paycheck, right? So your team has to be disciplined and you have to become the leader that you need to become so that people that work for you will look after you, right? Does it make sense? So that's the first point I want to share with you. Remember, why most sales teams fail, right? Now, weak follow-up systems. Guys, this is huge. Follow up. Now, looking into your organization, all right? So think about what is the lead process that you currently have. Yeah, I don't want to now discuss for an hour how to make better funnels, right? How to create a better lead process that will make people to come to our sales calls. 90% close and warm up all the time. So we're gonna use this on a separate video. But if you get a new lead and the sale doesn't happen, not only you wanna go through that and make sure that all the sales calls are recorded so that you can train your team. And obviously you need to be the sales guy that knows how to train his own team as well, right? You cannot expect to have anyone in the office better than you in sales. You will need to become the number one, right? You need to become that leader so that you can coach your people in anything out there. Does it make sense? Now, if we don't close the sales, what's happened to that? Because some of the sales people, they will come and tell you, look, George, this guy needs a bit of time. They said, call me back in 3 months, call me back in 1 month, call me back next year. Now, right now, I don't want to do business. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna allow that to happen? Well, if now you got a team of 20 people, 25 people, 10 people, whatever the number is, right? And you have thousands of leads that they're not being able to be closed. What are you gonna do with that? So the follow-up that I'm talking about is, number one, you want to have clear step-by-step follow-up written on a sales book where your team can see the script, can see the message they need to send, can see the emails they need to send, can see the script about what kind of phone calls am I gonna have with this patient so that I can come out with new ideas, right? And not just sounding like, hey, I'm following up with you and leave me alone. Call me 3 months. I told you last time, call me next year. What kind of conversation I can have with the prospect so every time it looks like I come with new ideas, right? And then, by the way, there will be your marketing team as well. Now, if you have a database, for example, of 10,000 leads that you've collected over the past few years, what's happening with those sleeping leads? Are you guys ghosting those people? Because there will be needed a certain level of email marketing. So it's called marketing nurturing. So what kind of nurturing are we doing currently in your company? Yeah, if you're a sales manager and you're watching this, or even if you're a salesperson, what is your marketing team doing to help you to convert more sales? Does it make sense? So you need to make sure that there will be a series of things that the marketing is doing, because even if those are sleeping as a lead, they will be closed sooner or later. So how soon do you want to close them? That question will be for you to answer, right? If you want to close them pretty much soon, then you need to follow up with them by email, by calls, by message, right? And there are certain ways on how to do proper follow-ups. My team is aware of them. I've been training them myself on how to do proper follow-ups, right? This is still the first question. So why most sales team fail out there is a culture and motivation problem, guys, right? A sales team, look, sales people are very particular. Let me tell you that. And if you're a sales guy out there, you know we are particular people, right? And yes, they say, look, you need to hire people who are self-motivated, that they don't need motivation, but that's never gonna happen. The real people that really don't need motivation all the time is you as an entrepreneur. Why? Because no one is gonna come and tap your shoulder and tell you well done and tell you bravo, right? No one is gonna do that. So you are the one who has to do that with your people all the time, right? So when you become an entrepreneur, then you need to have that sense of self-motivation all the time, 24/7, right? Otherwise, you can never be a successful entrepreneur, right? If you're a salesperson, you need to motivate your team constantly, right? This motivation can come from things like knowing your team's dreams, yeah, what they want to achieve, write it down, get them to write down like a vision board so that they can create a vision board in the office. These are the things I want to achieve this year, right? This is the car I want to buy. This is the house I want to buy. I want to get married. I want to have a family. So all the goals of your team, I need to make sure that you're aware of all of them, right? Why? Because once I'm aware of that, I can create motivation for my people, not only based on, yes, you can earn more, you can achieve this bonus, you can get this much commission, not only financially, but I can create motivation based on what? Based on vision. Right? And that's most of the time happen to be more powerful than any financial motivation, right? And then coming back to us is the culture, right? Guys, in Blue Magic Group, if you come and work with us, we have something called the BMG Bible, right? It's nothing to take out of the Bible. Obviously, we all believe in God. We all pray together. All of my people, this is a question I asked to the people in the interview, do you believe in God, right? Because it tells me a lot about the people. And even if you say no, doesn't mean you cannot get hired. Obviously, if you come in our culture, you will have to start getting married with our culture, right? And getting close to God is one of them. So coming back to us culture, what kind of culture your company has? Do you have a booklet that says that culture over and over again? Do you have a work ethic? What happens if that culture is not maintained? What happens if your people or the new people who come, they don't understand the culture, right? Because now, the more you grow as a business, you need to understand that the more your business grows, the more you need to start hiring other people to do the job for you in any department. Does it make sense? Because you need to make sure that people will buy your time so that you can use that time into following the vision of the company, right? So you need to be able to start delegating a lot more. So you will hire managers, and then the manager will have their own team under them, and they will start delegating even more. But the culture, the more you grow, the more it's gonna get harder for you as a business owner to keep that culture intact while you're not 24/7 in the business, because now those people you have delivered the culture to need to be able to deliver the culture to the new upcoming people, to the new people, if it was you explaining that culture. Because the biggest problem here is you grow, take a step back from the business, right? Because it's needed most of the time, because you need to get your people, you need to trust your people to do the job. But how are they going to teach that culture now to the new people coming? So you need to pay a lot of attention there, because otherwise you're just gonna have a company that will start fading away. Everything you created, you will get faded away the more they grow. And then you're gonna face big problem at the end of the day, right? You're gonna find out everything coming in one go. After 1 or 2 years, you will realize, hey, what's the problem here? We're not making much money anymore, right? That's the problem, culture. Second question that I got asked by you in our last live streaming, right? Now, the sales skill that makes millionaires, right? A lot of you have asked me, look, I want to have a sales team that will make a 1 million plus, right? And is it possible to have sales team that make millions of dollars on a yearly basis without owning a business, right? Look, at the end of the day, that will depend on how good is the leader, how good is the CEOs, how big is the company, because the more products you have, the more commissions your team can earn, the more they're going to earn as well based on their paycheck, right? Does it make sense? If I'm selling a product of $1,000 a month and I'm not consistently promoting the product as a CEO, as a company, everywhere in the world, in all our social media, consistently on a daily basis, that millions of people can see that, then obviously my sales people have a limit of how much they can earn. Does it make sense? But if I come in the market every time with new products, right? And you can create even different departments, different companies, and my sales team have big products all the time that they can go and sell out there, and the marketing team is doing a very good job, then obviously they're gonna earn more money, right? So right now, if you're a business owner or you're a sales guy, for example, you work for a company and you're limited on that because you only take a percentage of a small amount of the total package you're selling, then you need to understand that straight away. Because if that's not going to change, obviously right now that you have a limit of how much money you can earn, and probably you need to go and find another company that sell different packages and pay different commission. Does it make sense? So when I get into sales, it's very important to understand, who am I going to work with? Who is the CEO? Who is the mentor? Who is going to be the leader of the company? Because if the leader of the company is a fucking lazy ass, right? Then you know you might be limited on the amount of commissions you're gonna be earning, right? So tell me about the company. How does the company promote their business? How many leads are we getting? Do I have the chance to create my own leads? What are the chances? What are the options? What do I need to do, right? So before you enter, and now if you're a salesperson and you want to enter in sales, make sure you make these evaluations right, because look, you need to be in the right environment. It's not about you all the time, right? Because if you are an elite salesperson, but you work for a product that the marketing is not right and the commissions are not right, obviously you're going to be limited on how much money you can earn. So make sure that you work for the right company the right leader behind, the right marketing team, and now you have a chance to earn more. But then automatically you're not gonna come in this company, a company like this, and then start earning millions of dollars on a yearly basis, right? That's gonna depend on you. So coming back to the question, this was Luke, the sales skills that makes millionaires. What are those? Yes, there are a lot of people I know. There are some people in my team that they earn 7 figures plus, right? So you want to make sure that you select the company you want to work with, okay? Now, the next question, this was from Eleonora. So Eleonora has asked, Pasquale, tell me about your phase, some of your phase, and tell me why, especially why most of entrepreneurs stay small, all right? Now, look, the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make when they think hard, their hard work will fix a broken system. It's not about the hard work. Obviously, you have to put the hard work in, especially, look, in the first 3 years, I remember, I was working 20 hours a day for 3 years in a row. And I was very dictatorial on the way I was doing things. And by the way, a lot of people close to me at the time have left me, and I left them because obviously I was spending so much time into my business. It was everything I wanted to do. So I spent less time with some of my best friends at the time. Some of them are not with me anymore. I spent less time with my family. Hopefully they're all still with me. And I had to let a lot of people go because I had a limited amount of time that I wanted to spend with anything that was not related to me, create and grow and make this business work, right? And at the time, there is nothing you can achieve at the beginning of your business if the hard work isn't there. So you literally, is a game about who is spending the most amount of hours. Because if I'm spending 20 hours a day and one of my competitors is spending like 5 or 6 or 8 hours a day, obviously I'm running 2.5 times faster. And it's a compound effect after 3 years, right? If I work 3 years, someone is working 3 years now, if I'm running 2.5 times faster, 3 times faster, now it's like I've invested 9 years of your time. Does it make sense? So you got to work hard at the beginning, but then it will come to a point where a lot of entrepreneurs stay small. Why? Because number one, they don't delegate. They don't trust their people. They think that they are the only ones who do things perfectly. They are afraid of delegating stuff to other people, and they literally stay small. They start micromanaging people all the time. They don't hire the right people. They try to stay cheap when they need to hire people. So what happens next? Obviously, those people need to be micromanaged more, spend more, invest more in your people, because if they are going to be hired on taking certain responsibility, obviously, and they're going to buy you time, you want to make sure that they are the right people, right? Because otherwise, not only you're going to end up paying a salary and hiring someone, but that person is going to give you even more job, because those people need to be micromanaged. So hiring the right people, having a recruitment process that is ongoing all the time. I remember, this is why most of the entrepreneurs, they stay small. Recruitment, guys, it has to be ongoing all the freaking time. Yeah, why do I know? Because I made these mistakes in the past. Every time in the past I was stopping the recruitment process, and some people just suddenly would leave the company, right? We had a lot of people going for any reason, or a lot of people that had to be fired. If the recruitment process was not on point, then it would take us maybe 3-4 weeks based on our recruitment process to hire new good people, right? So we will lose time and we wouldn't have a replacement for the people going. So you need to keep the recruitment process all the time ongoing. Wherever you want to hire or you don't want to hire, the recruitment process needs to be ongoing. So write this down. Don't ever make this mistake. You always want to have 5 to 10, 20 new people, depending how big is your organization, or even more, ready to be hired by you. Does it make sense? Now, I have a recruitment team. We have our own people that they follow up with the recruitment all the time, every day, 24/7. And I remember at the beginning, people in this department, they were coming to me and say, hey, Pasquale, listen, I can see we're not hiring. Should we stop with the recruitment? Never stop with the freaking recruitment. I remember at the time, I had to create a piece of paper to explain this in paper and ask them to freaking sign that piece of paper so you understand by now they will never gonna stop the recruitment process. So there are certain type of things that you have to do as an entrepreneur to make sure that your company will run fast, guys. Everything is possible. If you lock in for a year, 3 years, you can start making millions of dollars. You can create a company that makes millions of dollars. What happens after that? You can start having people in your sales department, or the department, they also are going to make 7 figures per year, right? 6 figures per year. So the more you grow, the more your team can also earn, all right? Now, one thing I also wanted to share with you here is the lack of systems, right? So this one is big. In our company, when someone gets hired and enter the company, they will have everything written down in manuals. Obviously, it's not enough for you to write manuals just for the sake of it. You want to make sure that those manuals, they literally enter the company culture, right? They need to smell and breathe like your company culture, right? And you want to make sure that the people who are going to join, they understand. There is nowhere you can go in an organization if these manuals are not understood 100%. And that's why we go through the academy, so they can learn all the processes, they can learn all the manuals, and then at the end we do a final test. And then after 30 days, we do another test with different questions, right? So that we can have a full understanding that, yes, this person knows the company process. So you need to have system in place, because remember, you will have people going, people coming. You cannot just spend days, months to train people all the time. If someone is going and someone is to come, you cannot just do it. So you need to put in place certain systems that will help you people, the new people, to get trained faster, right? So that your company can run faster. So right now, ask yourself, there is any systems in your organization, in your company? Because if you don't have any systems, you need to start creating those systems now. To give you an idea, something that we have implemented, that was about 6 months ago now, is we have this Blue Magic Group Academy. Blue Magic Group is one of my company, right? So we are hair transplantation, plastic surgery, and dental surgery clinic based in Istanbul with offices in 4 different countries. It's a nearly 150 plus team, right, in different countries. We realized we were spending a lot of time in the recruitment process for our academy. Now imagine it's a 1 week academy, and then there's a boot camp, right? And you're gonna have 5 to 10 people of your team involved in those academies, so that we can teach, a group of 5, 10, 15, 20 people everything about us, right? Does it make sense? Now, the problem is that imagine now you have 10 people involved in the academy for an entire week. That's 40 hours by 10. That's 400 hours that we are investing every month into the academy. So what we have done, we have put all that academy in video, right? So by now, there is a 25 hours video academy where if you want to work with us, you come in the office, and your first week is about studying. It's about studying the manuals. It's about studying our BMG Bible. It's about watching everything of our academy online, right? So now we have saved 400 hours. Why? Because we have a system in place. Does it make sense? So make sure that you start building up your system.